Yeah, one and done, baby. One and done. Just like Zion. Good day, good evening, but likely good morning when you see this. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arts. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, to share, to subscribe. You already know the drill. When, yeah, chillin' with Dill. Hey. All right, back at it again. Well, appreciate y'all for all the support. Appreciate y'all for continuing to help this channel grow. Support us for free. The only way we can grow is when we do it together. So, appreciate y'all. But, hey, speaking of being together, right? You ever had that old relative that just calls it like it is and gives you what you need, tells you what you need, especially, and not what you want to hear, but tells you exactly what you need to hear. And for some of y'all that understand the concept of having a village, you probably have about 3 or 4 relatives like that you can think of right now. Well, President Dumars is like Unc out here, for real. Uncle Joe is a straight shooter, man. Uncle Joe tells it like it is. Cause man, oh man, was he cutting up in that Saints broadcast? I need to go listen to the whole thing. I've been doing work. Like I said, they said you in school, bam, right to work. So yeah, it's been a blast. It's been a blast though. Been learning and growing already, and I can't wait to continue to get better. But Uncle Joe kept it a buck and a bean and a whole. Hey man, like I said, told it like it is on Derek Queen. He was asked about his injury recovery, his rehab process, and he said Queen is doing well. They're training him big time. As I've said to him, you have a hand situation here, but that don't stop your leg. That doesn't stop your legs. That's me overdoing it a little bit. That doesn't stop your legs. So he is running. Now that is Joe. That's all Joe. I want you to be in incredible shape when you come back, or you'll be behind. Shout out to President Dumars, Uncle Joe. Man, I feel like I'm over here waiting for my burger at the barbecue. And Uncle Joe is just cutting up. He's just over here telling it like it is. You gotta love that. You gotta love that there's somebody in the NBA that's still telling it like it is. And he's not wrong. I think Derek Queen, to me, I understand, Chris and others that covered. I understand that he didn't light the world on fire, but you saw the skill set, right? You saw the ability to handle the ball as a big. You saw the shooting ability. You saw the low post acumen. You saw the passing ability. Now, you saw all these things in a raw sense. You saw all these things on a smaller scale. But he averaged a double-double, 14-11. Let's not forget. To me, you saw enough to warrant and to justify why we made the trade that we did. The trade that I'm treating like Voldemort. I'm sick and tired of talking about it, but everybody and their mama want to talk about it. So I will address it. I will talk about it. But we paid a hefty price. It was not cheap to get a player like Derek Queen, and yet again, it worked, and it will work. I know that right now the vision is a little harder to see because he's hurt already. He's got to get in much better shape, like not even just better, much better shape. But I do feel like there was enough to work with to at least see as a baseline. Okay, this is why. This is the way. Like in Mandalorian, this is the way. And this will give him an opportunity for more, though. And I do agree with President Dumars. Yes, your wrist, perfect time. And if only he was our quarterback in New Orleans, but subject for another time. Um, the wrist injury, though, you know what I'm saying? That's that's tough. But like President Dumars said, the legs still work, man. The legs still work. And gotta keep running, gotta keep sprinting. I mean, me myself, I'm trying to get my endurance and stamina back to what it was back in high school, which is a tall task because it's been a while since I've even been athletically active like that, outside of like playing ball here and there, whatever. But I'm trying to get right. So me and Derek, we on the same path. But again, President Dumars telling it like it is. This is exactly the type of energy that we desperately needed with our roster, with the culture that we're trying to build. Again, I keep trying to tell y'all, in President Dumars we trust for a reason, because this is not a franchise that can continue to be handheld and told it's gonna be okay. You get a trophy. You get no, none of that. Need that hardcore. Need that blunt. Need that unfiltered, truthful as ever perspective. That's exactly what we're looking for. That's exactly what we need. So I'm happy because I really feel like that's exactly, again, it goes with what we're trying to build. What are we also trying to build? We're trying to build a better offensive unit. So as much as, I talk about the hard-nosedness, can't even speak, the hard-nosedness that President Dumars is bringing in as a culture, as a way of life, as a mantra, as a mindset. I could just go on and on and on and on with all these different flowery, nice adjectives. But offense, look, they say defense wins championships, and it absolutely does. But you cannot be out there without a talented offense. You cannot. You cannot. So for us, retaining assistant coach James Borrego, that was one of the greatest W's of our offseason. There was a lot of teams that were after him, particularly those New York Knicks. He was seen as the top candidate had they not given the job to Mike Brown, who I think Mike Brown will do a good job there. I think I've always thought Mike Brown was a good coach. I don't care what no one says. Great basketball mind, great coach, knows how to work well with a variety of different systems. They just got to buy in. But with Coach Borrego, I mean, when we brought him in the fold, we went from being a 21st ranked offense to an 11th. That's a 10 to 10 metric jump. When he was in Charlotte as their coach in his last year, they were the 12th best offense. Would you like to go look at their roster and see the guys that they had? You would be like, wait a minute, because this is pre LaMelo Ball. This is Kemba's last year. This is when they had Tony Parker. Remember when Tony Parker went to the Hornets? Most random, like, okay, it was like Patrick Ewing to the Magic. It was like Shaq to the Celtics. It was like Sean Kemp to the Magic as well. It was like Hakeem to the Raptors. It was one of those like, damn, homie, high school you was the man, homie. What happened to you? I remember being like, what in Sam Hill is going on? But yeah, they finished 12th as an offensive unit. I mean, granted, Cardiac Kemba was special. I don't care. That 2011 tournament run, one of my favorites of all time. He was just dogging everyone out there. That step back, he just buckets. I remember everyone was rapping about it too. Meek Mill was rapping about Kemba Walker like every tape that year. But to go back to us, right? The difference with us and our offensive unit more than ever before is our personnel, right? I don't care what no one says, we had an active and exciting offseason. We drafted some dogs. Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, Micah Peavy. Picked up Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey in a trade. Excuse me. Signed Kevon Looney. Just signed Jalen McDaniels, not Jaden, but still. It's not a Blake or Taylor Griffin situation. No, this the Taylor Griffin. I met him. He's a cool guy. You know what I mean by that, though, right? Solid player, right? We were able to add on to the nucleus of Zion, Trey, who I'll be talking about, Herb, who we re-signed, okay, for a 3-year, $68 million contract. Meanwhile, New York just gave Mikal Bridges $150 million after trading their whole future in first-round picks for Mikal. So this notion that we didn't have a good offseason, I would like to be pointed elsewhere. If you're not Houston, the Clippers, the Nuggets, I don't want to hear about you having had a better offseason. Respectfully. Those are the only like 3 teams I really have seen be active like us and really build and think about how do all these pieces fit together. Coach Borrego is going to do wonders with this offensive lineup, right? We've got more scoring talent than ever before. And I wouldn't be surprised if guys that were already there, like Eve, Jordan Hawkins, Carlo, I wouldn't be surprised if they also take a leap with the more concerted effort. Because we know defensively, as long as everyone's healthy, we're set. Especially when DeJounte comes back healthy. Lock-ups. We got to get back to the level at which we were at in 2023, 2024. I've already predicted Herb is going to be a first-team all-defense. I don't think it's crazy. But I'm excited to see what Zion does fully unleashed. This is the year. And we've got some really talented pieces to make something happen. And with the better offensive minds, the better. It just goes. It all flows in synchronousness and it all goes together. So I'm excited. You should be too. Now, I am not excited about this. There is a lot of word. I seen a lot of articles. I had to just show love to Pelican debrief off GP, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of talk about teams trying to get our beloved Trey Murphy III. And I want to say, first off, back up, back off. That's 2 things. You know. And second, why wait till now? Why? You know? What are you hoping to gain? I know Golden State has been calling LeBron's phone. They trying to get LeBron out in Golden State. That would be crazy. I actually wrote an article about that on Clutch Points. If you ever want to read it, go look my name up, Dylan Bruton. Yeah, I wrote an article about that about 2 years ago. You know, that'd be interesting. LeBron, Jimmy, Steph, and Draymond on one team. That'd be the 2016 Olympic team right there. Literally. Well, sans LeBron because he didn't play that Olympic. Whatever. But the other team that has been very interested, and they actually would be, because I don't want nobody from the Golden State. I don't want Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, I like Jonathan Kuminga. Again, I wrote an article about him. I still think he's got a lot of talent. But do I want him for Trey Murphy and giving? No. I don't. So, San Antonio might be talking a little bit crazier. But the asking price for Trey Murphy is not one that any team can just come in and get. I want to make it very clear. Multiple firsts and proven young talent. And if you aren't that, if you don't possess that, don't talk. Seriously, do yourself a favor. You know? Price yourself out. Now, I'm not one to tell, for instance, before I get into this trade package, right? Just give a little life advice. I'm not one to tell young men don't shoot your shot when you see a beautiful woman. You're never not in the game until you have been told that you're not, or you mentally have decided that you're not in the game. Look, my friends who know me, they know that, hey, I'm like J.R. Smith with it sometimes. I just, if I see what I like, I'm going to go holler. God bless me with this mouthpiece for a reason. Why not utilize the skill set, okay? All right, that makes me sound bad. But anyway, on a serious note, right? You don't price yourself out. You shoot for the stars. Because if you miss, you shoot for the moon because if you miss, you still amongst the stars, as I quote with Beanie Siegel. Now, Brett Siegel, who's not related to Beanie Siegel in any way, shape, or form, did a report. And he talked about our asking price. And in return, talked about potential players that we could get in exchange for Trey Murphy. Some names that floated around: Devin Vassell, Carter Bryant, and Julian Champagne, as well as 2 future first-round picks. Now that is a trade package that would be awfully tempting. That would be a trade package worth listening to. It would be hard to ignore. It would be hard, right? Think about it. Devin Vassell, Trey Murphy, very similar in play style. I think Trey is better, has a higher ceiling, but Devin Vassell is like that. There's a reason why he was a top 10 pick in his draft class. Carter Bryant, who I talked about on this channel, scouted quite a bit, is a phenomenal defender. One of the best defensive prospects that I've ever seen. I mean, the young man can do everything on the defensive end. Steals, blocks, rotate over, get defensive rebounds, be a leader out there. As an 18-year-old, he can lead a defensive unit, okay? And Julian Champagne, who, ironically, one of my best friends from college, they families know each other, not the name drop. I ain't name dropping nobody, but that's, if you know, then you know. But yeah, one of my best friends, because he's from, my best friend, he's from the Bronx, so they're both from NYC. Julian Champagne is a very underrated bench scorer. You know what I'm saying? 6'8", shoots 37% from 3, averaged nearly 10 a game, 4 boards and assists. I mean, I was just talking about Ochai, who averages those similar stats, and he's 6'5". We get that kind of output out of a 6'8" player. Okay now. Because, I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to have gotten Amir Coffey. It would have been nice. So there you go. But everyone that we just named is 6'7" and up. Devin Vassell, Carter Bryant, Julian Champagne. Not to mention 2 first-round picks. I mean, this is actually the only time I would entertain a talk. Keyword, a talk. Not because I don't want us to part with Trey Murphy III. There is something about drafting and developing someone and seeing them blossom under your watch, and someone who has embraced the city has embraced him. I mean, you can't downplay that or deny it. You can't. So I don't want us to trade Trey. I don't. But this is a trade that I would actually listen to. If I'm President Dumars, I would listen. Keyword of listen. That doesn't mean I pull the trigger and jump the gun and hop off the reservation, hop off the boat, whatever phrase, whatever nomenclature you need to know that signifies, just absolutely leaping, even if there's no lily pad in sight. But you'd be hard-pressed not to. You'd be very hard-pressed. This is a great offer. If this is the offer, keyword. Because if they try to lowball with some mom-and-pop store type of offer, what I mean by that, I mean like, nickel and diamond, pretzel money stuff. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Every team wanted Trey Murphy the third, and for the right reasons. He's a young stud. He's got I had to catch myself. He's got so much potential. It's crazy. So, yeah, that would be a trade that, whoo. Chris said it best. I would have some sleepless nights. Yeah, this is not an easy one at all. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think, because that's actually literally one of the best trade offers that I've seen for Trey. In fact, it could be the best one, because in order for that to be better, we'd have to get a superstar caliber player. It's the only way. But that caliber of depth and that caliber of resources that we get, assets wise, that is hard to turn down. So I'm going to kind of leave that one just open ended. I don't want that to happen necessarily. But anything is, that was strange. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't want that trade to go down, but if it happens, it's one of those I understand. I don't agree, but I understand. So we'll see. I hope we don't trade him though. I hope we don't trade him. Now I had to do it for two time. I had to do it for double. All right. Now let's get to my favorite and a less stressful topic: responding to y'all. We got some very nice comments. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Let's get to it. All-time great, my guy. Salute. Joe is going to give it to you straight with no BS. Zion and the other guys need an old school, no word salad type of straight shooter. Go Pelicans, F the haters. All-time great, as always. You be speaking facts. Facts though. We did not need, again, some word salad and nice flowery remarks. No. No. We needed somebody who was going to tell it like it is, who wasn't going to play around, and who knows directly and exactly what it takes and what's at stake. And that's exactly what President Dumars is there for. So I'm glad that we got him. I am so glad that we got him. Because if not, oh man, going to this offseason with some of the candidates that people were wanting over President Dumars, I was like looking at some of these subforums. I'm like, I'm thankful that none of y'all are running this team. With all due respect. Because y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about at all. Ricky Pronya, 2494, my guy. I believe that the Pelicans will be better than what most people think. If healthy, we can make the play-in. Hey, Ricky, I'm not going to lie. Shoot for the stars, my friend. I think we can be a 4 through 6 seed if healthy. Keyword if, and everyone is playing up to par. That includes coaching staff. That includes Borrego, Willie Green, all that. Everything has to fall into the right proper place. But if that is the case, and given that there is some bit of a power shift going on in the Western Conference, this is the time. This is the year to strike. This is the year to establish footing, create a new foundation that no one is going to be able to, or that not no one, people are going to try, but that no one is going to anticipate. Catch them off guard, catch them by surprise. So, Ricky, you already know, all love, but I'm with you on that. Christopher Church, 2653. Not sure why you trade for Ochai. Him and Hawk like the same guy. I gotta disagree. I stick up for Jordan Hawkins more than anybody else. He is not the caliber defender that Ochai is. And he also, in addition to that, he's not as athletic as Ochai. But I get as far as like the size, shooting, all that, that's a similarity. But now Jordan Hawkins is a better one-on-one player. Nobody can tell me otherwise on that. But both guys did win national championships in college. They both come from college. They both come from winning pedigrees. So kind of is a pick your poison type of thing. I don't want us to trade Jordan, but I'm not in charge of that, so we'll see what happens. Um, David Weimer, 8244. Abaji really is just another guy. He really is not demonstrated to be a solid NBA rotational player. Whew. David. You don't like these 6'5" 3-and-D wings, huh? I'm noticing a trend here. If we move Hawk for him, it is a flyer to see if he can make something of himself. That is an interesting take. I could see that. I could see it on that end. But with Ochai, I do think that he has shown to me. I don't think he ever is going to be a star, but I think he's got ability in that regard to be a solid, solid role player, an above average role player. Can't go wrong with that. For Dumars, I love his blunt demeanor and talking about how he's holding people accountable. For him and Zion, though, actions will continue to be louder than words. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. We got to see it all unfold. But I do feel like it's a great start. And that's what we've been lacking on, is some great starts. So there's already been a shift. There's already been some changes. The tide is gone. Zion has played 65 plus games at that dominant level. Oh, no, just dominant. I added the level. At that dominant and actually showing out in playoffs to win people back. Dumars can't just be aggressive in moves, but has to make smart moves. Can't make another trade the way he gave up that 26 unprotected first-round pick. It's one thing to be aggressive. It's another thing to overpay when you don't have to. Keep posting and keep those grades up. Hey, David, much love. And David, I truly do, again, and this goes out for everybody. I do not want y'all to automatically agree with whatever I say. I love when y'all disagree with me. And David, the way that he presents his thoughts, he really knows basketball, and he really knows how to articulate himself in a intelligent and thoughtful manner. So, David, you're one of my favorite people that comments, and I love to respond to. You are absolutely on the nail. You absolutely can't even speak right now. Sorry, it's been a long day. But you are absolutely correct. It does come down to what they do and execute. Actions speak louder than words. I have faith. I think we're going to have a better insight of what type of team identity that we're going to have, given we do have some new pieces by a little bit before preseason. And the hope is that we hit the ground running. But yes. And we have to be mindful and conscientious of the type of moves we make. So, yes, I'm in agreement with you that what we did this past offseason, that was stepping out on faith. And now it's about just building onto that. And the ideally and hopefully, we don't have to, jump too crazily with some of these moves. We can, move a little bit more. What's the word? I don't want to say easy going, but there's still going to be that tangible understanding of what is and what's at stake. But anyway, Johnny Extreme 3019. I love the name, Johnny. I hope we go over the cap and give Zion more pieces like Beasley and Vukovic. I'm happy to hear he loves New Orleans. We need our players to rally around our team and prove the doubters wrong. Well, appreciate you for commenting, Johnny. Although you might have commented on maybe a couple months back. But I'm with you on that. I would love for Malik Beasley and Vukovic to come in. For Beasley, we got to tell him, gambling will not be had on this team. But if you want to go out there and drain threes, we got a spot for you. It's a great sign to hear Zion say that he loves New Orleans. That, again, does not get appreciated enough. A lot of stars today, they're gone. They're like, agent Jerry Maguire, show me the money. They are gone. And the fact that he has wanted to stay around in spite of all of the scrutiny, in spite of all the people, all the things that people have said about him, and in his own experience and the injuries he's went through, the dysfunction in the front office, could be happier. Zion, I hope you have a Kobe, Tim Duncan, Dirk level career, right? One team. I'm going to throw Steph into that category. There's no way Steph gets traded. No way. No way Steph leaves the Warriors. And if he does, then what do I even believe in it anymore? But I do think that, yeah, there is so much value to that. Your superstar player wanting to be on the same team, even when you're a small market, come on now. It could always be worse. Could always be worse, and it will get better. That's how I look at it. Tina Miller, 2,300. Keep on, keep it on. Amen, Miss Tina. Amen. That's all we can do. That's all what I do it for. Oh, and then I'll respond to this one. Christopher Church 2653. Did you see Zion's per 36-minute stats? 31, 9, and 7. I got so excited. 31, 9, and 7. I'm telling you, when that young man goes out there and has a borderline MVP year, even might get a vote or two. All I'm going to say is I told you so. Stay tuned. But it is exactly like what David said. Actions speak louder than words. So we got to see Zion go and do it. But I know he can do it. That's the frustrating part. I know he can do it. He has the ability, he has the talent. It's not a matter of lacking. He has an abundance of it. It's come down to execution, and it comes down to consistency and discipline. But these are possible. These things can be achieved. Anything is possible. Anyway, y'all, much love. That's going to wrap up this video. Appreciate all the support. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for a video tomorrow. Support us for free. Like, share, tell a friend, especially if they're a Pelicans fan. Maybe convert someone who wants to be a Pelicans fan. Give them a reason. Give them an incentive. Much love, y'all. Again, stay tuned for more. Shout out to Fan Arch as well. Give them some love and some support. It's for free, baby. Anyway, y'all, have a great rest of your day, and you'll be seeing me again soon. Ciao.